Creating characters and building a cohesive personality, or someone that feels real and not just a mishmash of stuff. Olá, I am Diana, and today that's what I want to talk about. Based on the experience that I have on creating characters, not only for the visual novel that I'm creating right now, but as well as some other characters that I helped create, that I created for someone else, for some friends, or depending on the project that I was helping with. I've had experience of creating the most variety of characters, and I thought to share with you also when I'm trying to approach a character for the first time. Nora, which is the main character of my novel, it's a bit different. It worked a little bit different to create her because the situation that I was at was a little different than a normal situation. So I'll give you some of the tips that I use for myself, and then I'll give you the process of how did she came to be. So usually the first thing that I search for when I start a character is knowing what type of music that they would like to hear. Before even describe anything physical, I want to know what do I want this person to hear, what type of music. Personally, I connect a lot with other people by what type of music do they hear. That has to be something that I have to know about this character so I can take the juice out of that character based on that, because I have a variety of styles that I like to hear. I usually search for this character can hear all types of music, but which ones does this character choose to hear when, for instance, she is sad, when she is angry, when she is happy? What type of music does she hear on a normal day that she just wants to hear music? She doesn't have to base her emotions on what music to hear, but just a music that you hear normally on your daily life. What is the music that your character will choose to hear? That's a big turning point for me to figure out the personality of a character. Even asking questions like, does the type of music change when the emotions change? Does this person likes to sing with the music? Does this person likes to hum the music, like just the instrumentals? Does this person listens to the music of their own nationality, or they prefer a music that it's from foreigner countries? Try to understand all these small bits. These are important things that when you're writing something, maybe when you put in the words in the book, maybe that's not going to be relevant, but it's going to be relevant to you as a writer to know what personality are you describing, what person are you choosing to write. It might not be important for the reader at any moment, but it is important to get to know the person that you're writing. I have background in game development, so this was something that I learned with my narrative designer teacher, that he said, you know that you're prepared to talk about your character when you don't mention your character as a character, but by the first name of the character. For instance, Nora. When I talked about her, I mentioned her by her first name, not the main character of my visual novel. However, in some of the characters that I have, some of them I'm still not so comfortable, and that's noticeable. But this is something that you will understand as further as you dive into your book, a game, whatever you would wish to create a character for. Maybe you're just making dolls and you want a background story for whatever outfit you want for the doll. The tips that I'm using can be helpful to any type of character creation, even though it might seem a little bit useless. But it builds up the knowledge for this character, this person. It builds up the knowledge, it builds up the affection, or why does this character matter. This is why it's important to have such details, so we can connect with this character and not just be just another character. Because there's a lot of characters in the world, and some of them we are completely disconnected. It helps, especially if you're creating something to show to the public or to show to someone that it's going to interact with this character. It helps a lot to have deep details about this character, because small things will make people connect with them moving forward. The other thing that I like to know about the character is what would their bedroom would look like. And why do I choose a bedroom and not anything else? As we all know, a bedroom is really personal, and it's where usually we have our safe space. It's where we go to sleep. It's our corner. Some people have different realities. Some people have to share their rooms. Some people feel unsafe in their bedroom, and I'm sorry if that's your situation. But the norm usually is the bedroom is the safe place, is where you can see the core of the person. It's in their bedroom. So this is what I look for. It's how to describe their bedroom. And from then I can understand like what type of style does this person likes. Does the bedroom has a lot of posters? Does it has a lot of sticker notes? Does it has artworks? What does this person likes to look at every time that they wake up? Does this bedroom has plants? How does this person decorates their room? And for instance, if you want to give the economics standpoint of the world in which this character is living, you can go by, okay, this character doesn't have many things exposed in a room, maybe because they don't have the economic power to decorate it. So that's another thing that it's interesting to know about this character. So maybe it's not because they don't want to decorate the room, maybe just because they can't. Already we have two important things to describe about it. What's the style? What type of style is this character like? And can she or he afford it? Another thing that you can describe in the room is that, is this person organized or not? This can open doors for a lot of things. A person that is organized, why are they organized? Or if they are not organized, why is that? Is their life stressful? Do they don't care about it? Are they just naturally messy? What is this character traits on that regard? Another things that I look for is that, are the decorations, are the furnitures simple or not? If it is minimalist, maximalist, this also opens a lot of doors to, okay, if it's a maximalist person, maybe we are looking for details. This person cares a lot about details, because maximalists, some people understand them as really messy and all over the place, and maximalists have a lot of organization in their chaos, if we are to call it like that. They have a lot of visual chaos for someone that it's not as maximalist. But if you're going to zoom in some areas of their room, you will understand there is organization in their maximalism. So even then, we can take a lot of things by what type of maximalist is this person. And in some minimalists like to live in color palettes of whites and beige. Some like just blues and greens. It depends on the minimalists. That also helps us understand like, okay, this person likes this type of colors, this person likes details, this person doesn't like details. With a bedroom, you can already take a lot of things out of your character. Other thing, the way that they speak is also very important, because if you have a bland dialogue, you will feel that the character feels flat. The way that they speak also tells us a lot. Do they speak elegantly, like royally? What type of words they use? Do they speak really fast? Do they speak more calmly? Do they speak aggressively? How is their tone? Are they relaxed? Do they use slangs or not? Is the way that they speak, is it contemporary or is it Shakespearean? So those things also help a lot to understand, why does this character speaks like that? Is it because it's required of them to speak like that? Can this character access studies? If he can't, maybe the speech is a little bit broken, or maybe the speech is actually pretty clean and clear, and this person had to strive in a world that doesn't provide studies for them. It always depends on where do you want to put this character in what world. And this type of questions, like how do they speak, it also helps to understand what the world do they live in and what struggles or how easy it came to have such dialogues in a way that they do. Another thing that helps in terms of speech is, does this character change their speech based on people around them, or is it the same speech no matter who's around? Does this character has to speak with a lot of people? Does this character don't have anyone to talk to? This also helps to understand if it's a more quiet person, it's a person that speaks a lot, it's a person that you like to hear, it's a person annoying to hear. And from here you can also talk about their voice. Is a deeper voice? Is a high-pitched voice? Is it a calmer voice? For instance, someone that has a trained voice to speak to a public might not be the same trained people that are prepared to sing. On the other hand, it might be a person with no train at all. And for instance, we know this with boys, they are turning into man voice. They are starting to have this deeper voice, but then they have those high pitched and their voice also breaks. So this is also interesting to know, and you can already tell what age is this character. So these are my top 3 things to look at, because it already gives me a lot of things. And now that I have those bullet points, I can search for, I can research those things. For instance, in terms of music, I can see how do this type of people that listen this type of music behave. Do I want my character to be like that stereotype, or do I want them to be like an outcast of that type of music? I research by reading books and watching movies and watching shows, series. I researched those in a more analytic way, not only savoring the story, but as well as looking at the story in a more analytic way to see why did this writer choose to depict the character like this. This is also another important point, which is from whom are we choosing to do research on? Because some writers do have a specific way of describing characters, and some other writers don't care about it, and some writers disregard a little bit of the characters and they focus more on the world. So what writers are we base our research on? And I'm saying writers because every character needs a writer. A game needs a narrative designer. A game needs a storyteller. Those are writers. A movie, a series, everything that you see a character might not be a writer by profession, but it has to write something about them. So from what writers are you taking your validation and your research from? It's also very important. Now, at the beginning of the video, and as you've seen so far with the time-lapse of my main character, Nora, from the comic It's a Nora kind of vibe, Nora wasn't born exactly how I just described. Nora was born a little bit different, so a little bit of context. I've mentioned in previous videos, I'll just do a speed run of what happened and how she came to be. So Nora appeared in a really dark time in my life, and I needed someone, a character, someone that didn't exist, that I would create with a lot of problems, with a lot of situations happening in her life that she had to overcome. To look at her and feel like I'm not alone suffering, I'm not alone in this bad situation. Because, you know, many of you can relate to this in the means of when you're going through something, a lot of people can come to you and say, oh, I know exactly what you're feeling. And that takes away the power of how much are you feeling. And it feels like you can't feel those things because someone else knows exactly how you're feeling, and that can be really overwhelming and really sad. And that's also a reason why you don't want to talk to people, why you don't want to say to people like, I'm going through this and that, because someone is always worse than you or has always been through those things. So I created Nora exactly because of that, because I felt like a lot of people have been through worse things, and I know that, but I wanted to meet someone that is going through them as I write them. So this is Nora. Nora has this sarcastic way of speaking, and she likes to dress in some monochromatic clothes that look a little bit edgier and trendy for what we see nowadays, and it's something that I like to look at. So Nora, it's a very comfortable character for me in terms of I had to go through with her what she was going through. And we were going through something really deep and harsh at the same time, because I created her when a lot of bad things were happening. Things in my life became only darker, only heavier. And Nora stood with me throughout all that time until today, and we are still going. So, as you can see, even though she didn't follow exactly the path that I just mentioned earlier in the video, I did do a character sheet. I started with the full body concept of her because I wanted to see someone cool, someone that would dress like this, that would have like cool tattoos. As you can see as well, she likes ballet and piano and reptiles, snakes, which is completely different from now. And this is also important. The way that I created this character sheet, this first character sheet, was based on things that I researched back in the days, that I researched how people would create their characters. I wasn't fully confident in who was Nora, and once I started to ask the questions about the things that I just mentioned prior in the video, I had a lot of things there that weren't cohesive, and I had to roll back and disregard this character sheet. I mean, I think this is the first time everyone is ever seeing her first character sheet ever. Anyway, in this character sheet, you already see that I'm creating her room. Well, not only her room, but her house. So when I create her house, I'm diving a little bit more in what are the tips that I give you in the beginning of the video. You can see here that she has a lot of space for a lot of things. She likes minimalistic things. I created a lot of space, a lot of blank spaces, because I want her to have a lot of space for her eyes, for her vision to breathe inside her house. Nora created the design of her house. So she likes architecture, but is she an architect? Which is not, because in the world that she lives in, being an architect, it's even harder. But how does she get the house, and how does she get to design her own house? That's something that I'm not going to spoil. That's something that you will learn as the story progresses. You can see the disposition of the squares. First of all, I want to put her in squares and have these call-outs for information. This gives a lot of the organization that architecture layouts look like. So I wanted to give this intentionally boxy type of character sheet, specifically because she likes it. So you can see, for instance, Nora as a character that she is now. She is a gymnastic, she is a tattoo artist, and she has a dog which is born, which is her best friend. Another thing that is very important in this world is the water masks. If it's a very humid day, or if it's raining, or if it's snowing, you have to use a mask so you don't literally die. Anyway, this is who is Nora. And I hope so far it had helped you to take some hints, take some tips on how to create your own characters. I hope it helped, and I will be creating more character sheets from more of my characters. I'll be creating them, I'll be posting them as I create as well the pages of comics or illustrations for my visual novel. So if you like what you saw, if you like where this is going, if you have interest to see my comic, I have a webtoon, I have all my links linked below. You can check them out. If you have any specific questions that you would like to ask about this video, please leave them in the comments. I will address them in videos to come about further characters. I'm thinking to do at least 6 or 8 more character sheets, considering that 6 characters are really important to the story. If I do the other 2, it's a treat. So I'm still deciding if I'm going to make all of them or if I'm just going to make the 6 more relevant to the story. So if you like what you see so far, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.